Time FC, sponsored by the Scen family. I got Zach, I got Joe. Shout out to our main man, Trav. You might know him from Views from the 22 and 94 Feet of Life. Special guest producer today while our man Jamaldo is taking care of business. We're going to talk about the Champions League, a brief recap of what's going on in Europe. I should have changed my name. Next week, I'm going to change my name to Relegation Ron. That's going to be my name next week. So without any further ado, let's get to people's games that actually matter. Champions League, the biggest tournament in the world, kicked off today. Nothing that happened today changes our preview or prediction. So we're going to talk about each group. Let me start, though. I'm going to lead these to the people who are actually in the Champions League. Zach representing the dark blue side of Chelsea. Joe representing the sky blue side of Manchester. Fellas, how you feeling? Long time no hear from. Champions League thoughts as we kicked it off today. What do you think?
Go ahead, Joe.
You want me to go? Your squad played today, though.
Yeah.
We don't play till tomorrow.
You're right. I mean, it was a good start to the Champions League. About what I expected. A tough match where, we spent about 70% of the match in Zenit's half, and they played the a la Jose Mourinho style of football and parked the bus, and we got to talk about the man.
Right behind you.
Yeah,
he is. I'm going to go on record, and I know that those of you that have followed us know that we have a little bit of history between us. But for the second time ever in Stoppage Time history, I'm going to agree with none other than Jimmy Pujols that Romelu Lukaku might be the best striker in the world right now.
I don't disagree with that. Joe, I'm gonna kick it right with you, but I just think the improvement in he was a finisher before this, but his all-around game has just gotten so much better. His touch is better. He's in better shape now. Not that he was ever out of shape, but he's kind of slimmed down a little bit. So he runs. He's tremendous. So I actually agree with you. I think he is the best number 9 in the world.
4 games and 4 goals. That's that's what you pay for, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's why you pay over 100 mil for a striker.
Yeah.
Just put the ball in the back of the net. And younger Lukaku was always, even as a younger guy, he was just a physical specimen. He was just he would play bully ball, but the knock was always his finishing ability, and he seemed to have sorted that out no problem because he's consistently putting the ball in the back of the net now. And I think he fits exactly with what TT wants to do for you guys. So I think that was a tremendous signing for you guys.
Well, yeah, and like you said, when we had Rom, back coming up through the academy, and then we sold him to Everton, he was great. He was fast, he was big, he was strong. His finishing was fine, but he was that guy that could only, you had to play him a long ball. You had to play him a through ball, and he had to run onto it. He had no other facet to his game. And that's what, and he said this on record that Antonio Conte completely revolutionized his game. He said that the first 4 months of training with him, he wouldn't let Rom do anything but play with his back to the goal. And it clearly, now he's that guy that he starts with the ball, his back to the goal, receives the ball far more often than he does, run onto it. And he's gone from a good finisher to a fantastic finisher.
Yeah.
And he is absolutely so much fun to watch.
Yeah. Joe, Man City, back in it again, kicking off tomorrow as we're taping this.
Yep.
I know we say this we've done Stoppage Time for 2 seasons, And every time it's, hey, this is the one prize that has eluded Man City under Pep's reign. We talk about Lukaku ending up with Chelsea. Do you believe not getting Harry? I know you were not big on Harry Kane. Obviously, it didn't happen. Do you believe that not getting him in any way affects your chances in the Champions League? Or do you feel like, hey, well, maybe when we come back around in January, we'll revisit the whole striker situation? Or are you like, hey, I am good with exactly with what we do, and I trust that it'll work for us?
So that's something that I've been toying with in the back of my mind, because a lot of times when we talked about this during the season last year, I kept saying that the one thing we kind of were missing was diversifying our attack. We can play the ball around everybody, and they seem to try to walk the ball into the net for most games. They're trying to pass the ball through, work it out wide, and then work it back in the middle and try to get a tap in. That's kind of what Pep likes to do. What we struggled with was when teams play defense like Zach's club. That's why Chelsea was so effective against us, was they were disciplined, they kept their shape, and it's really hard to pass the ball through that many defenders who are all on the same page. You have to do something different, and that is the only reservation that I still have, because Ferran Torres has been doing a very nice job as a striker. He's still not a very physical, tall presence, and the one guy that we do have is 18, 19 years old and hasn't played any first team football yet. I've told everybody about Liam Delap before. He scored over 20 goals. Yeah, you know. But he is his physique and style of play is similar to Harry Kane. He's obviously not even close to that level yet. But physique wise and style of play, he's a bigger guy. You can kind of feed the ball to him, kind of a la Lukaku, who can hold the ball up. Even though Sergio was not a very big player, 5'6", 5'7", 5'8", he was always very strong and could do some hold up play for us. We made it all the way to the Champions League final and just played against a well-disciplined, great team in Chelsea. So I don't think this hurts our chances of getting back to that same spot, because I still think we have one of the best clubs in the world, one of the deepest clubs in the world. And I like what we have. I like the changes Pep has made Gabby Jesus into more of a wide guy, and he's flourished in that role. So I still think we're one of the top teams to beat, no question. Adding Relish has been a positive so far. We'll see what happens when he's playing in more unfamiliar territory, because he has not played in the Champions League before. The rest of the club is very experienced, but he has not seen this level of competition before. So we'll see. But I'm still content with what we have, and I'm happy to see the progress some of our guys are making. So
Pep makes a key substitution in a crucial game again.
Yeah.
I'm not just talking the final last year.
I know.
This is
it's a thing for him, for sure.
It's mind-boggling, and I don't understand it. Like, you're overthinking it. You are too good of a side to overthink this.
Pep. Like in American football, Aaron Rodgers would probably tell Pep, relax. Just relax. Because he does tend to overthink these big games. Well, not necessarily big in the Champions League. He doesn't do it during the league. He doesn't really do it during the domestic cup. But when he gets to the Champions League, he gets to the round of 16, round of 8, and he starts changing things for no real great reason. Obviously, fellas, we talk about the Champions League. We got to talk about PSG. The team, to me, that has, I know Joe and his side are itching for a Champions League, but to me, nobody goes into this tournament with more pressure than PSG. You can't do everything they did this past summer and not feel like our season goes down to these 13 matches, which is crazy. The Champions League, if you go start to finish, it's 13 matches. PSG's whole season is measured on this. Is this tournament. They'll eventually dog walked. I think with Messi and Donnarumma and Ronaldo, eventually they'll walk away from everybody in the French league.
Oh,
This is the tournament Zach and Joe talked to us about where they are under all the pressure. They have to win this tournament.
I know PSG is a big bugaboo for my boy Joe here. I know he has some bad blood with them. I don't really feel that way, with them. So I'll just say this: to me it's 1 year, but we'll just say for the sake of argument, because Messi's contract is 2 years, you give them 2 years. If it does not work in these 2 years, you have to blow it up. You have to blow the project up, because there's no reason with a roster, and I'm not talking a starting 11. I'm talking like 18, 24 players deep, in the Champions League. There is no excuse to not at least make the final. They should win it. I can't think of a team that is as good all around as PSG is. And to do it very shrewdly, business wise, Messi on a free, Donnarumma on a free. They got Wijnaldum, I think, on a free, and they only spent money on
Ramos was a free.
Yeah, Ramos was a free,
Ramos.
and then the only money they spent was on Hakimi.
Yeah,
that's.
So they got Nuno Mendes at left back. They spent 40 on, which isn't still not a lot for a young teenage starlet like that. So they really didn't. They added a lot of pieces and did not spend very much, which is crazy because they're probably the wealthiest club in the league, in the world.
They have the proverbial 2 starting 11s.
Yeah.
Yes.
They can roll out literally 2 different starting 11s, and Zach is being generous with 2.
Yeah.
He is now, because if they lose Mbappe, which I think we all pretty much think Mbappe, unless there's some turnaround, is gone next June. Not that PSG can't recover from that, because they can, but when you have Mbappe, Messi, and Neymar, there are no excuses.
Zero.
There are none. You literally have arguably the 3 best dudes in their positions in the world. Not even in the world, in their prime. Not in their prime, because Messi's prime is everlasting. To me, they have to win it. I don't want to hear anything from PSG that doesn't involve them winning this tournament. Joe, let's just go to you. I know Zach, you're axe to grind with PSG, but I think they have to win. I think they're under infinitely more pressure than you all are under.
Absolutely. With all the moves that they made, we only made one major signing. They brought in a bunch of guys. When you bring in somebody like Messi, who's not just a star in his sport, but a global icon that everybody knows about, to a new club for a free, and you're expecting him to deliver at the biggest stage, they for sure have the most pressure, more so than City. I think City's probably close behind when it comes to that, because we're on a time crunch here, because Pep might be leaving soon. But the biggest thing for me with PSG is,
I bet Poch is available then.
Is Pochettino. That's the name I'm going for, because their lineup of players is Champions League winner quality. I don't know if their manager is going to be able to manage and balance the team, make the right selections, and do everything that is necessary to get them there. They ought to coast by several dozen points in their league. Like it should not be a problem in this year. They lost last year with a star-studded lineup. So this year for sure there is no excuses. I don't want to hear about injuries, because like we said, they are a couple of players deep across the board.
All right, here, bear with me. I'm going to segue off of that. Their 9th best midfielder, 9th, is Idrissa Gueye, who is a household name. Their 3rd goalkeeper is Sergio Rico, who was Sevilla's starting goalkeeper like 2 or 3 years ago. Third.
Idrissa Gueye is like the best midfielder on arguably the second or third best team in Africa.
Yeah.
Like Senegal is probably the second or third best national team in Africa, and he's the best midfielder on that team. And he doesn't play.
And that's not even counting guys like Icardi, who are, those tweeners between forwards and midfielders.
Icardi, Di Maria, Marquinhos, like
Verratti, Rafinha, Ander Herrera, Julian Draxler, Leandro Paredes, Danilo Pereira. Like these are
all these guys are studs.
He can literally just pick 3 names out of the hat for midfield every week. Just pick 3. Just go into a hat, draw 3 names. Okay, you got it.
How Pochettino manages that lineup and selection problem, because they with the English clubs, there's at least a second domestic competition where you can kind of rotate a little bit more if you're still playing deeper in the league. The French league has their domestic cup, the Champions League, and then their regular season. So it's going to be a rotation issue if he's not getting guys game time.
Right.
And we'll see if he's able to manage the dressing room.
There's 2 cups. There's 2 cups in France.
Is there?
Yeah. Yep. The only reason I know this is because I made that spreadsheet again for this year. I'll see if I can pull it up real quick.
So France and England have 2. The other ones only have 1. Is that what it is? Okay.
No, Germany has 2, and so does Spain.
So speaking of England, and we talk about Poch, and I want to segue this to the second manager to me, who now is under a great deal of pressure.
Can I guess something real quick? Did he lose today?
Oh yeah. No. Me and you are right here. We're right here. To me, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, the clock is on. The clock is ticking. Because yes, we talk about PSG and all the pressure, but when you bring in the biggest, literally, by whatever measure you want to use, the biggest star in sports, the biggest, and you bring in Ronaldo is not there to win the FA Cup and the League Cup. You sign him to win League and Champions League. We'll focus on the Champions League because it's our discussion today. But Joe, I'll bring us right to you and then just throw it right back to Zach. If Manchester United does not make the quarterfinals at worst, Ole got to go. Assuming if they don't win the league.
That would be his only saving grace if he doesn't do well in the Champions League, is he would have to win the league for sure. You probably only got Ronaldo for this year and next year. So now is the time. They're, again, same kind of thing here. They have squad depth at United as well. And same issue here as Pochettino is that how is he going to manage? I'm sorry. We'll pause here for a second. So my guy, category 5, can come in.
Moment of silence.
He's got a little downtrodden. Is that Paul Pogba there in his?
No, that's.
Or is that Fred?
Is that
Fred?
No, that's Fred. That's Fred.
Yeah,
Fred. Oh, Lord have mercy.
I was trying to find. I couldn't find Cristiano crying in the United jersey, so I went with Fred instead.
I saw a good picture of him today, just sitting on the pitch, kind of like, "What did I sign up for?"
So I'm glad. So,
I need that one.
So you're here at a perfect time, actually. Great timing. So we were talking about managers under pressure, and we talked about Pochettino with PSG.
Ole, 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 ole.
And that's where we want to go. As a Manchester United, as a fan, with the addition of Ronaldo, I guess for you, what is the bare minimum for Ole to keep his job this year? What's the bare minimum?
Hardware or the highway?
I think it's fair. I think it's fair.
Champions League title. Give a damn about the FA Cup.
Wow. Okay, let's just clear something up right now. You're not winning one of the first 2. It's just not happening. There's too many deep teams.
There's a There's a reason. There's a reason my standards are where they are, Zach.
I mean, I know your feelings with OGS. It echoes the same as all the rest of us.
I'm with
But
him though.
I think realistically, though, like I think he's okay. Let me caveat that. I think he's going to be safe regardless. I think that the Woodwards are just too scared to do anything drastic right now, given the tension with the club. But I think if he can snag an FA Cup, if he can snag, if he can knock City off their perch from the Carabao Cup, then I think that he will appease the gods and save his graces, I guess, if you will. I know that United finished second last year. I don't see it.
This year ain't last year.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
but a healthy Liverpool team, a Chelsea team that can actually finish, is a much bigger threat to United finishing second or first, because we all know City's going to be there.
Yeah. Now let me ask you this though, and I think this is where I think I would say there's the ghost of one manager that's still quote unquote out of work. And I would tell you, in Storms, you feel free to chime in on how you feel about this. Let's say worst case scenario happened. No trophies. United finished third or fourth, let's just say. There's a bald head French dude that's out of work. The call, I'm telling you, it's tempting. I wish my club was in a position to make this call. We are nowhere near in the position to make this call.
Are you talking about the subject of the greatest YouTube song of all time?
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. I'm gonna drop that in the group.
With the amount of winning that dude has done, it's a short-term project. Ronaldo, we talked about. You didn't bring Ronaldo for these FA Cups and League Cups. And I think on the counter side to that, on the blue side of Manchester, if Pep is truly rolling out, why wouldn't you replace Pep with Scen?
See, if I'm running United and I get a sniff that City's going after him, I'm going after him. Same as Ronaldo.
We're gonna say that just happened. We just saw that happen on transfer deadline day. Speak
it into existence.
So I know we focus on the Champions League, but I know I kind of am in Storm's corner on this. I think if he can't win one of these two, unfair or not, he's going.
Here's my thing with Ole is, like, if I had to equate him to somebody in another sport, if he was a quarterback, he would be Ryan Fitzpatrick. He's a quality manager, but he's not the guy. He's the guy to get you to the guy.
I can't hate that at all. The one thing I'll say that really hurts OGS is that, and this goes for anyone that takes over after him, takes over after them, they will all live in the shadows of the greatest manager of all time. And I'm sorry to Pep, I get it.
I'm not. Sir Alex is still there.
Sir Alex will always be the greatest football manager of all time, and it's not even close.
Right, and that's so who can you have? I mean, to fill that spot. Like, I'm looking at it with my club right now. We need a Conte is the type of person who can replace Arsene Wenger. Not an inexperienced dude that's never done it before. To step into that seat, Manchester United, whatever, with Pep leaves behind with City, you need a real dude. You need a real boss, Don type dude in that seat. And I just think if Don is still out here in the summer of 2022, I don't see how you don't call him. If you're either one of the blue, either side of Manchester, you have to call him.
Although, truthfully though, like if I'm looking at this, I'd rather see Zizou in the Prem over Antonio Conte again. Antonio Conte is so damn underrated as a manager.
I wish we could have. I wish we would have called him.
You gotta. Arteta's he's gotta make a strong comeback to make them reputable, like to make them like European footballers. Just for them to like, it sucks that you have to succeed knowing that you're gonna get the axe, so that they can hire someone of a higher caliber. Because Antonio Conte is not going to take the job with them sitting mid-table.
That's a whole nother conversation to itself. But look, also in the Champions League today, we saw Barcelona get dealt with at the hands of Bayern Munich. Lewandowski, another dude who will score goals forever, with another two. Fellas, I'm going to put this on wax, clip it later. I don't think this is being over dramatic. I don't think Barcelona gets out that group.
Clip it. You beat me to it.
I mean, it's the reason I picked Bayern and Benfica. And the reason for that was Benfica is not Barca. Barca's falling apart.
I don't like anything about that team. Anything. It's just
They're relying on Memphis Depay, who is a fine player, to score all their goals right now, and he's not a guy that's going to carry a club like Barcelona.
Yeah, Memphis. He didn't come here for all this. He came here to be play with Messi. He didn't come here to be doing all this.
Be the guy. Yeah, exactly. I think I saw him, Zach. I don't want to steal your thunder because I know you said you had a stat for this particular matchup. So I'll let you go first and then see if it's the same one that I was thinking of.
I'm sure it is. So for the first time in the history of the Champions League, so this is 66 years now, Barcelona did not register a shot on target. For the first time in history of the Champions League.
One?
Not a single one.
Wow.
That's very Arsenal-like. They didn't get a shot on target?
Not one.
Not one. And it's not like they're lacking for talent. They still have some quality guys, but
for our man Trav and our newly initiated folks, think of it like this. Think of it American football. Think if you don't cross the 50.
Yikes.
But even if you're generous, like let's just say they never made it to the red zone.
Yeah, you never get to the 20.
Did they pull off a Kansas like a Kansas City in the Super Bowl?
That's almost like getting no hit.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh wow. That's amazing. That is amazing. I mean, ain't that's what you play soccer for? At least get a try.
To not get a shot on target in 2 hours is
like you can launch one from the kickoff spot in garbage time out of frustration and get a shot on target.
To not even challenge the keeper.
They had five shots, not a single one on target.
They only got 5 shots, period.
Compared to Bayern, who had 17 shots and 7 on target.
Jeez.
And Bayern held the ball longer than they did. They had completed more passes, and that's what Barcelona is known for, is keeping possession, knocking the ball around the pitch the whole time. And they did not do that at all today.
So is it 11 now? So the last two, if we're going on aggregate, the last two times they've played,
11-2,
combined 11-2.
Yeah, doesn't Barca typically have like 68 or 70% possession?
That's usually how they like to play.
Yeah, they're definitely a mid to high 60s possession oriented team. And truthfully, like even with the depletion of their team, they still have talent, but they're a lot like, and sorry, Trav, not to pick on Liverpool, but they're a lot like Liverpool in the fact that they don't have depth now, so they have the quality. The quality is there. That's not the issue. It's that they don't have the depth to sustain, playing in the league, 2 cups, and the Champions League. It's just not.
Yeah.
Even if you avoid major injuries, you're still going to have sore legs. You're going to have tired guys. Like, it's not sustainable to play, because you figure if you make it all the way in almost every single one of those cups and matches, you're looking at upwards of almost 60 matches in the season.
Right. And they don't have, we talk about Liverpool not having the depth. Liverpool still have a guy that if all hell breaks loose, we can go to Salah in the open space and say, make something happen. Depay is a good player. He's not Mohamed Salah.
He's not a match winner by himself.
He's not. Yeah, he can't. So them not getting out of that group is very much on the table, and I wouldn't be surprised. I would be actually more surprised if they do get out of it, because they just don't have. And without when you play Barcelona, even just Messi by himself was enough just to be scared.
They don't scare people right now.
There's nobody who's afraid of them.
Frankie De Jong is not. It's not gonna happen.
Not it.
Side note, and we could probably segue to our group predictions, but there were 4 red cards today. 4.
Half the matches.
And of that, though, 3 of them were double yellows. One of them was John Brooks for a stupid handball. The only hard straight red was Aaron Wan-Bissaka.
Stormzy.
So I don't really know too much about what happened in the match. I know that we were at 10 men and Ronaldo scored in the 13th and we lost 2-1. That's about it. I didn't get a chance to watch.
I'll give you a series of events here real quick. Cliff Notes version. Ronaldo scores in the 13th. Wan-Bissaka gets a straight red in the 35th. BSC Young Boys equalizes. And then in the 94th out of 95 minutes, Jesse Lingard turns to play the ball back, completely misses his entire defender, right to Jordan Sibanachu, who puts it past De Gea.
One-on-one
with
the keeper.
Okay, so I have a question. I have many questions actually, but was it just like blatantly just? Was it one of those what the F are you doing moments?
So what happened?
Lingard?
Lingard didn't pick his head up.
Lingard back pass was truly, I don't know what you're looking at.
He didn't pick his head up and look to see where his actual defender was.
So
he trusted that they were back
this
there.
Man, 3 weeks ago, told the club, I'm not signing unless I get first team guarantees, and this is how you prove your case.
Well, when they said no, we don't want that, he's like, well, you sent me to East London last year, so here you go, young boys.
Give me first team guarantees or I'm sabotaging all this year.
I ain't leaving.
He came on for Ronaldo in like the 71st minute too, so
that's even better.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, and what really hurt United too is when Wan-Bissaka got that straight red, they sacrificed Jadon Sancho to bring on another defender. So like you can get away with having, you still have Jadon Sancho up top, but when you lose Bissaka to, the straight red and you have to sacrifice Sancho, then
they lost.
Bad news Bears.
I watched the highlights when they lost. When that red card happened, they really just kind of lost control of the midfield, which can happen when you're down a man.
What was the red for?
It was a really bad challenge. He had the ball. He played it too far forward, and then instead of just running after it, he lunged after it and stomped right on homeboy's ankle, and it was bad. Like, now, don't get me wrong, the young boys player, he definitely Neymar'd it.
He made it.
He made it a scene to behold, but slapping the ground and calling for the trainers, and then he got up and then he got up and walked away. But it was still a really poor challenge.
Have y'all seen that video of, it's like a soccer camp and it's a bunch of like 7 and 8 year olds, and then they're all running around the field dribbling balls, and the coach yells Neymar, and every kid on the pitch drops to the ground and starts rolling around grabbing their ankles.
I have seen that one.
I need to know what's in that magic spray bottle, because it seems like people have like torn Achilles and then they spray it with the magic spray and then you're good, and then you just feel better.
Then you're fine.
You're fine.
Their secret stuff.
In the
pressurized codeine.
Right. So let's pull the groups up. Now, for our newly initiated, the top 2 teams in the group advance to the next round, the round of 16. So we'll go from 32 teams to 6 teams, and then there'll be another. So let's just kind of run through the groups. Whoever want to call out what 4 teams are in the group, and then we'll just pick 2.
I'll go Group A because that's got my club in there. Group A is Manchester City and PSG as the top 2 most likely clubs to come out. They are also paired in there with RB Leipzig and Club Brugge, which is from Belgium. For me, that's clearly Man City and PSG's group. The battle there will be who gets first and who gets second. Whoever comes in first gets to match up with a second place finished club. So generally that's typically a better draw if you finish first, but it really depends on matchups and who you get. So for me, I have City and PSG moving through that group fairly comfortably.
Yeah, we won't spend much time on that one. That's easy. Give me City, PSG to get out of that one. That's easy.
The only thing I'll say is don't take Leipzig lightly, because they will take points from you.
For sure.
They are a really good team. Ever since Red Bull bought them and created the whole Red Bull organization, they've been funneling money into them, and they're a good squad. It's definitely going to be City and PSG. I mean, barring a Pochettino meltdown, but I think Leipzig's gonna make it.
It will give
games.
They should handle Bruges no problem, and then they'll see how they do against City and PSG if they can steal a point here or there.
All right, Group B.
I got that too. I'll read those off. Atletico Madrid, Liverpool for our man Trav, FC Porto from Portugal, and then AC Milan out of Italy with our man Zlatan.
This is rough.
That's a tough group.
This
That's
is a tough
Zlatan to you.
Not even the best striker on that team.
I'm gonna go Liverpool. Give me Liverpool to win the group, and Atletico Madrid to finish second.
I'm with you on that. Those are the 2 clubs that I had circled as teams that are going to move on. I didn't have them in 1 or 2 order, but I like a healthy Liverpool. I think takes care of Atletico, even though they've added more to their attack. They brought in they brought Antoine Griezmann back, and they I think his name's Cunha, a Brazilian striker who won the Olympics with Brazil this year. So they've added some attacking talent, but Diego Simeone doesn't seem to like to use his attacking talent to their best abilities. So I think Liverpool also is choice of that group, with Atletico finishing second. Porto and Milan all were quality clubs in the Champions League last year. Porto advanced into the second round, so it's definitely a challenging group. I think those two clubs, though, too, will move on.
In the
Zachary?
famous words of Lee Corso, not so fast, my friend. I have a healthy Liverpool winning this group easily. And then I have AC Milan. The additions that they made in this transfer window were impressive. You know, getting Giroud, they brought in Fikayo Tomori last year from Chelsea, who became an absolute stud in that back lineup for them. Really shored up that defense. They still have Frank Kessie in the midfield. I'm pretty sure Sandro Tonali's there. They are a really, really good team. They still have Zlatan. And, you know, like I said, Olivier Giroud, who just continually finds the back of the net, and especially in the Champions League. So give me AC Milan to sneak by that, and Atletico Madrid go crying all the way to the Europa League.
All right, Group C.
Group C, we have Ajax, Besiktas, Dortmund, and Sporting. Sporting is out of Portugal. Besiktas is Turkey, the Turkish champions, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I think Dortmund wins the group. They have the best player in that group in Erling Haaland. And then who did I circle? This one was a tough one for me. I was going between Ajax and Sporting, and I am going with Sporting. So I have Dortmund to win and Sporting to come in second as the runner-up.
But we have a lot of agreement tonight, because those are the same two teams I had. So yeah, we can just move on to the next one, or if anybody's analysis. But that's what I had.
I think this is a group where Dortmund takes max possible points, and the other three teams just kind of fight over scraps. I have Sporting, finishing second, but honestly, I could see Besiktas taking second. I could see Ajax taking second. I truthfully though, this is probably the poorest Ajax team I've seen in a long time. Andre Onana's not there, with his blood doping. And then they sold like 2 or 3 players. I think David Neres is gone. I think the only thing they have left is Dusan Tadic.
Mm-hmm.
So it sucks because I'd really like to see that Three Little Birds kit more often. Who, by the way, now were forced to remove the birds from the back of their jersey because UEFA and FIFA said that you're only allowed to have one logo on the kit at a time.
So back for that.
And so their crest is the only one that's allowed. So they had to remove the 3 little birds off the back shoulders.
So that's basically a petty move. Huh?
Yes.
This dude. Anyway.
Without a doubt.
Group D. This is Group D.
Group D, we got Inter Milan out of Italy, Real Madrid out of Spain, Shakhtar Donetsk out of, I should know this because we play against them. Ukraine, thank you. And then the best name in the Champions League, Sheriff Tiraspol.
Mm-hmm.
Sheriff is the name of this club, who will probably take
Sheriff Tiraspol.
That's the best name in the Champions League, but will likely not take any points out of any of these games.
So who was the first two names?
Inter Milan and Real Madrid, and that's who I have moving on. Myself, I have Real winning and Inter coming in second.
Yeah, give me that. That works.
I'm just gonna ride that train. Little trivia for you though. Sheriff is from the small country of Moldova.
Shout out Moldova.
Getting some shine for a little bit.
All right, Group E.
We have the Bayern and Barcelona group. So we have Bayern Munich, Barcelona, Benfica, and Dynamo Kiev.
Bayern, I called it already. Bayern and Benfica. I don't think Barcelona gets out the group.
So I'm actually going to agree, except that I have Dynamo Kiev finishing second. Dynamo Kiev only lost 3 matches all of last year, period.
Mhm.
They're a strong squad out of Ukraine. They won the Ukrainian league last year. So give me Kiev to finish second.
I agree with Bayern, and I am still going to be the oddball and go with Barcelona and see that they're going to see their way through.
Somebody has to believe.
I see. It's not. I'm not sure it's belief. It's just I would rather see them falter in the later stages than early on.
Oh, the pain to be later.
Diego, close your ears, buddy. I'm sorry.
Sorry,
Joe.
brother.
Joe, are you rooting for heartbreak? Is that what's happening right now?
I didn't say that.
Joe's choosing violence.
All right, so that's Group E.
That's Group E. Group F is Joshua's group. That would be Manchester United, Villarreal, Atalanta, and Young Boys. In that group, we're starting to get into the ones that play today. So as it stands, Young Boys are at top of that group, and Man United are at the bottom with 0 points. Villarreal and Atalanta tied. I still think United gets out of the group and wins, and I will go with Villarreal as my second place team.
I'm going United and Villarreal too, because Unai Emery in a cup competition, this is just kind of what he does. He's a really good cup manager. Give me Villarreal as the second team. United will get together. We have our little jokes today, but United will run off like the next 4 wins in that group, and it'll be over. So give me United and Villarreal.
Truthfully, I wouldn't be surprised to see Manchester United win the rest of the matches, period. I could see them not dropping points again. However, I'm going to take Atalanta to finish second, and Villarreal will go back to the Europa League where Unai Emery always wins. That man has more Europa League trophies than I think any manager ever.
Like 6 now?
What's that?
He has like 6, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's got a lot. He's got a lot, man.
He is the king of the NIT of Europe.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be
The NITE.
The NIT of Europe. That's Unai's thing.
Zachary. That might be the third time that you agree with Jimmy, because Jimmy thinks Mr. Pujols likes Atalanta a lot, and he says he typically says that they play the most beautiful football to watch. So
they really do, and
they're fantastic.
That's the thing about the Italian league, and if you have ESPN Plus, I highly encourage you, if you are just bored and you want something to watch, ESPN Plus has the rights to the Italian league. As far as I know, I think they still do.
Yeah.
Watch an Atalanta game. Watch, Inter or AC Milan. There is some really beautiful football that is played in Italy, and it pains me to say, but Jimmy's right. Like Atalanta are a beautiful team to watch, especially when they're firing on all cylinders. I wasn't real impressed with them today, against Villarreal, but they're a good team. I like them, so sure. I'm gonna have them getting out of that group.
Zach, this is weird. This is like the 3rd or 4th United-related thing we've agreed on this week.
I don't talk about it.
All right, next up,
Group G. This is the one I had the hardest time picking a winner, and lo and behold, their results today showed that. It was both games out of this group were ties. So everybody is tied on 1 point. Teams in Group G are Lille, which are who the French champions last year, Sevilla, RB Salzburg, and Wolfsburg out of Germany. So I had a tough time picking picking who was going to win and who was going to finish second, because I could see any of the 4 teams winning and finishing second. I settled on Sevilla and Lille moving forward, and I'm going to go with Sevilla being the first place 10 winner.
Interesting enough, Trav, in his newly inducted last season, picked Sevilla as his non-Premier League team to follow. So Trav, I'm picking Sevilla too. Sevilla is one of those teams that they're just a thorny side in Europe. They always find their way into the round of 16, round of 8. So yeah, give me Sevilla and give me RB Salzburg as the second team.
So if you look at the standings right now, it's RB Salzburg, Sevilla, Lille, and Wolfsburg. That's how I predict the group to finish as well. Lille is absolutely dreadful after winning the league. They took their money and then they said, "Here, let's sell all of our best players as well." They've lost 2 out of the 3 of their first games in League One. They're sitting in like 14th spot, I think. So yeah, this is a group where you're going to have 2 teams advance, and then you're never going to see them again after they get the first round of the knockouts.
They will likely be sharks' meat for whoever they match up against.
Whoever gets drawn that's going to be what everybody wants.
Lille is the Lille for our newly inducted. They're the Florida Marlins.
Yeah.
They're the Florida Marlins. We had the great young team, and then we just sell everybody, and then we lose everybody to free agency, or we trade everybody. So there's your baseball reference for the folks. Shout out to the Dish. Wednesday night, watch the Dish. Playoff run coming. But there's your comparison. Florida Marlins are Lille. Next group.
Last but most certainly not least is the reigning champions group, Chelsea's group. They will be matched up against Juve, Zenit St. Petersburg, and Malmo. And that group currently stands with Juve and Chelsea taking full points today with 3 each. Juve is in first because they won 3-0. I think this one is clearly a Chelsea first place, Juve second place situation. I don't think Zenit or Malmo are going to put up much of a fight for the second place finish, even though Juve is struggling a little bit in their domestic league and have had a lot of turnover. They have enough to get through and out of the group.
Yeah, this is
the question in this group is just going to be between Chelsea and Juve. Who has the first quote unquote bad draw? Who gets a draw somewhere they're not supposed to get, and that cost them the group. They are the clear 1 and 2 in this group. It's just a matter of who can take care of business the most times.
Yeah. And the matchup to watch is the Zenit matches, because Malmo, they're the 3-time Swedish champion in a row. But I was looking at a little stat coming up. They've played 6 rounds of matches just to get to the group stages. So them boys are tired already. And I think that's why Chelsea getting the win today against Zenit was really big, because I think Zenit is going to be the trap match where you don't want to drop points.
Zenit is really far. Like,
I want to go to Russia.
It's a long trip, so you get caught there. So that is the Champions League preview. We're gonna wrap this up. We've already gone a little bit over time. We're gonna wrap this up in about 5 minutes. We're gonna wrap this up right on the hour, 10 Eastern, 9 Central. So Joe, Zach, Storms, just kind of rapid fire jumping in. The Premier League season started, 4 matches in. Just kind of some early, I know it's real early, but that's what we do here. We talk about what's happened already. Thoughts on the early part of the Prem season before we get out of here?
Josh?
Yeah, Josh.
I'll be honest with you. I've been pretty consumed with baseball and haven't been able to pay a whole lot of attention. I'm just happy that Ronaldo's home and looking forward to seeing a little bit of improvement as far as our Premier League matches go. From, like I said, I followed it very loosely, but from what I've seen, it hasn't been the most successful start to the season for us. So,
well, you're still in first, so when you
United
that going for you.
Okay,
Maybe
it's recency bias with today. What happened today?
I think United. I think they're going to be in it deep, because I think they have so much frontline talent. Like, when you can roll out Pogba and Fernandez and Ronaldo, If Sancho kind of gets his feet, Rashford when he comes back, if healthy later on, they're gonna be able to against most teams. They're gonna just be even if Ollie's tactics aren't the best, they have enough talent to just kind of like, yeah, Ollie, we got this. You just kind of roll.
Here's my thing is it's our back line isn't as bad as when we had the likes of Phil Jones starting, but
Chris Smalling.
but on the same note, I don't want to be the Red Sox and have to outscore everybody.
You're going to, because your back line consists of, and I know everybody's seen Team America, so when I say Matt Damon, just replace Matt Damon with Harry Maguire.
Matt Damon.
Harry Maguire might be the most overrated center back in the Prem.
I'm not a fan.
And and I talked about this the last show. The issue with United is they have no holding midfielders. Fred, shout out to your picture down there. Constantly looks like this because he's constantly getting beat. He is not good, and their only other holding midfielder is Nemanja Matic, and I think he's like 63 or 64 now.
Only 2 years old.
Jesus. They are the classic.
Fred has benefited as much as almost anyone I've ever seen from simply being a member of the national team he plays on.
Yes.
Yeah. Very true.
United has this thing where they have 97 attackers, and all of them make a case to start, but behind them, it's a mixed bag. But I will say, shout out to Bruno Fernandes, who I think he has 4 goals and not a single one of them are a penalty. So,
Look at that.
Penandes.
No Penandes.
Can't stop being Penandes.
Has anybody checked the temperature in hell lately?
Joe, early
Yes,
thoughts on Man City trying to make it a 4th Premier League title in 5 years. Had a rough start against Tottenham, and then since then I think it's 12 goals to nothing in the last 3 or 12-1 in the last 3. Quickly got over that slip up. How you feeling early with it?
They now that all of our injured players are starting to come back and our guys who played deep into the Euros are back, that's kind of why the Tottenham match happened. They didn't really have a lot of time to train together because we have so many international players that were out playing in the Euros and in over in South America in the Olympics. Back to scoring goals as a team. I think we have 11 goals scored. I want to say 9 of them have been scored by different players. So we've had 9 different goal scorers out of the 11 that we've put in the back of the net. So they're going to continue to score goals. They're not going to have a guy who's going to drop 25 goals, 30 goals, but we're probably going to have a lot that are sitting around that double-digit mark. Bernardo Silva and Jack Relish have formed a really nice partnership. On the left side, Jack has played a little more forward, and Bernardo is in his more natural midfield position. There's a lot of noise that he was going to be gone and sold out, either to wait for a Harry Kane move, or he just wanted more guaranteed first team minutes, but he's getting that now. Whether he continues to get that when Kevin De Bruyne comes back will remain to be seen. I think Pep is going to do a great job rotating players through, and I think everybody's going to get a lot of plenty of playing time to keep everybody happy. My big thing is Man City, Chelsea, Liverpool, and United, I think, are the clear class of the Premier League this year, and I could see any of those clubs winning, getting on a hot streak, winning the title. I could see any of those teams finishing in any of the top 4 spots, but I don't see a team that is going to challenge those 4 for one of the Champions League spots. So my biggest takeaway is the top 4 teams are all taking care of business because they're all right there in the top 5.
Yeah, I think we talked about this, I think, in the pre-show. Those 4 teams are the clear. Like there is a clear line of separation between those 4 teams and the rest of the league, which is okay. I think you'd rather have 4 teams than Germany, it's the Bayern Invitational, the French League, which will probably be the PSG Holiday Classic. So I'm excited. Clearly I'm way on the outside looking in, but those four, any combination of Chelsea, City, Liverpool, Man United, when two of those four teams are playing each other, you probably need to be tuned in on that evening because it's a title decider. I think almost every time those four teams play because I just think it's that close between those four, and it's that much of a difference between everybody else. We talked about Lukaku, Zach. Anything non-Lukaku that you want to talk about with your Chelsea squad before we get out of here?
I don't really have much that hasn't already been said. Like we said, there's a clear line of demarcation for the top four teams, and it's not even close. I think the fifth team is going to end up probably being the Tottenham Hotspurs. But right now I don't have anything other than I'm impressed with what I've seen so far with Rom, and so I'll segue. What's that?
Why did you say it like that? The Tottenham Hotspurs,
just like Matt Damon. So I guess I'll take my time to shout out a couple things. So shout out, I saw on another network that I won't name, but they shared a tweet today from the Wolves account of a guy that said Harry Kane over Raul Jimenez. And the official Wolves account tweeted back, okay, but at least Jimenez wants to play for us. So, shout out there. Savage move. Also, I wanted to take a quick minute to shout out. I don't know if he's watching because it's really early across the pond, but we had a new member in Stoppage Time, Joe Hayden Hicks, Chelsea fan. Keep the blue flag flying high. Good to see more people. We're getting. He lives in London.
Okay, shout out.
He's legit.
Yeah, yep. He's one of the ones. I actually introduced him to the group. He asked about it and everything, and I just told him we got some stuff going on over here. Check us out. It's about 3:00 over there.
Yeah, so, 2 or 3 o'clock. Yeah, 3 o'clock now, I think.
He said he's gonna check it out. So,
and then I wanted to give a special shout out to my neighbor Tom, who is a Man United fan. Tom, if you're watching, condolences. R.I.P.
First big matchup of the big four, we'll call them, is not this weekend, but the 25th of September, Chelsea, Man City, at a bright and early time of 7:30 a.m. So wake up early. It will be terrific. I'm hoping my daughter's soccer games are later in the afternoon that day, so I can actually on live instead of later.
We will definitely preview that match that week, but I'm just telling you too, that's very early in the morning to be bothering each other. Just try to be cool. Yes. That's all.
I'll be chill.
It's way too early in the season for violence.
Morning to be violent.
And
so
that'll be the third fixture in 7 days for Chelsea. They have Tottenham on Sunday, Villa in the EFL Cup on Wednesday, and then City on Saturday. So
it is never too early in British football for violence.
Yeah.
Touche, Joshua.
Ever been to Britain? They get it popping early in the morning.
Pubs open early. So that'll do it for this weekend. This next week, same time, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. Stoppage Time FC. Scen is the family. Big shout out to our special guest, Josh Storms. Shout out to our main man, Trav, for coming through, coming off the bench. We raised the sub banner. He came off the bench. Great performance, Trav getting us started. It's Ron, it's Zach, Joe, Stoppage Time FC, signing out.